Hey guys, just wanted to take a few moments to put a few thoughts out there that have been sitting in my brain. I sense that the veil is lifting for many people, that the smoke screens are beginning to dissipate a bit, and they're feeling differently, probably very foggy and weird, and coming to when so much has happened internally in the world that's been unexpressed, but certainly felt, but never observed. It's sure to be a doozy. It's a dizzying display for many people. I sense that what's been orchestrated in this world due to the life interference in the system of life that's been forced upon many people, that they've been acclimated into, there's going to be some rough wake-up calls for people. Some signs from the universe that, yeah, you played God with human life. It's not going to go so well for you. So I sense that there's many things blowing up in people's faces in their lives that we're just not privy to. You know, we don't have a more solid way of communicating with each other. We have a less solid way. There's never been less comprehension and communication in the world. And an important thing to remember is that communication's fine. Like they say, communication's key, but so is comprehension. You can communicate your point, but if you're not understanding where it's coming from, then it's not going to hit the same. So you have to go into something with a mutual level of trying to understand each other. And that's something that the world around me that I'm perceiving just doesn't seem to be that possible. It's just, we're all just barely missing each other or never even reaching to each other. And that's the problem. But another thing that I've never brought up in any of my updates that I'm just going to go out and say, and I don't care if I sound crazy saying it, is that, guys, aliens exist and they're all around us. And I think people in the know what I mean. The type of influencing in the world of the restrictive variety that has changed people's moral fiber even, like, I think we all know deep down that people are different, and in such an odd way that we can't even point to most of the time. It makes me think of that film, The Faculty. If you've ever seen that, it's kind of like that. Like, the reptilian problem in the world is real, and I'm willing to call it what it is. This is not normal waking life. I get up and go to work. That's about the most normal part of my day. I can't even live life as just a normal human being anymore. I have to acknowledge how when this event came about, a spiritual phenomenon has coincided with this change within people in the beginning of the NPC phenomenon that I noticed a while back. It coincided, and I began to notice my own frequency rose. I began to see things differently. I noticed that the world intrinsically is not what I thought it was ever to begin with. But needless to say, things are sliding down, I sense, and it's never going to be explained to us. It's something that we're just going to have to dig deep and come to terms with. And in my case, I've had to be an army of one for so long. I'm not going to say I've written off people, but I've accepted that the universe isn't aligning the right people into my life, so it's better to just continue the spiritual path that I'm on. I consider myself like a stoic now, and I just like to write. I like to pontificate. I like to express points that I perceive, and I can't help but feel like my spiritual ancestors did the same type of thing. Because of the world shifting, there are parallels between our timeline of life and previous timelines of life, for sure. It's needless to say, these events have been prophesized. We're enduring an era where there's so little understanding, but one thing's for sure, the world is weird, and it's always been fucked up to exist on planet Earth. The world's never been an easy, safe, comfortable place, but I feel as if it's going to be getting highly uncomfortable and very much less safe over time. That is something that the visionaries of their time periods, when they foresaw what we're going through now, knew that as well. So it's all lining up in my mind. But I feel as if the ceiling of life, the ceiling that we're reaching for, is just getting lower, and it's not being explained to us, which is going to create a lot of discord, dysfunction, and chaos and confusion over time. It's just going to make it harder to live in the world when things don't make logical sense and we're expected to act like they are to uphold the status quo and the norm. Fuck the status quo and the norm, because the status quo and the norm is to harm good people and to normalize silent suffering. Like, this world's always been built on human suffering. That's just a fact, and there's always been evil coursing through people, but damn, it's reached a weird sickly peak where it just doesn't compute, and we're all just going through the motions upholding normal, I guess, just to not buck the system. That's what they want. I can't live for that idea where I have to maintain my normal bullshit existence, knowing that I know for a fact that there's more to this world, there's more to this equation, and the powers that be simply don't want us to ever express any meaningful points to each other out loud, we would be too powerful then. They want to keep us apart, they want to keep us at arm's length, and they want us to never feel any joy or peace or comfort. I'll put it this way, I don't really care if I feel peace or comfort again. I just want the system and the establishment that has made it their life's mission to restrict people like me, I want to make their discomfort level extremely high. That will be my goal. And I hope to get into people and to awaken certain people in my environment, but it appears that there's a thinning of the world, and I don't notice more real human beings in my midst. I notice much less. It's like everybody and everything is scenery that's orchestrated to just keep us in a false reality that's meaningless, that doesn't contribute to anything of value. That's how I feel deep down. But this reptilian control that I bring up, it leads to a communication barrier and a scary precedent that we can never vent, heal, or express anything of value to each other, and that it encourages that we just all become trauma victims that are conditioned into silence and also harming each other. Normalized harming of each other is a trend that I'm noticing. There's just less empathy once we know too much about other people. We can't empathize with them more, we empathize with them less. That's just the truth of the matter. But it's a matter of identifying the cycle and breaking it, and acknowledging that generational trauma is being encouraged by this system of life that nobody speaks of. They just adhere to and act like it's normal, and we all know that it's not, obviously. But the toxicity within families is going to translate into dysfunction, chaos, as people are tested, and this cult activity in the world, it's a heavy precedent in the background that I'm sensing. It's just not the same place. There's no warm and fuzzies when you think about human existence anymore. It's a facade that we're enduring, and we're hoping not have it affect our lives too personally. That's the big picture. How does this affect me is how everybody thinks. But whenever things crumble apart, that's when unity is needed, and that's when it's going to be hard. The friction of hard heads colliding is going to be a ever-present theme in the world. It's just going to be weird, silent conflicts that are there. But it's like a tree falling in the woods. If you don't know about something happening, is it really happening? I sense things. Most people don't feel and sense things. They just do. They don't even think for themselves. So as the bar gets lowered, people are just naturally going to get less empathetic, more hostile, and it appears less autonomous. Like, people are just conditioned into their cycle and routine, unaware of it. I may be in my own cycle and routine, but I'm firmly aware of it, and I hate it. And that's why I'm trying to break the cycle as much as possible. But I anticipate that there will be losses and cleansing in the world, and those left standing will come together and potentially battle the status quo together, form a counterculture that firmly acknowledges this spiritual phenomenon for what it is and what I perceive it to be as well. But once that's happening, this satanic ritual abuse that has been instilled within people to facilitate it, once it's acknowledged, the healing and catharsis will begin. And that's a tough pill to swallow, and certainly a difficult thing to talk about comfortably. But I would imagine that the more strong-willed of us who awaken and see things for what they are will take it upon themselves to be a light worker, to get the truth out in a way that will inform people, and also hopefully cause them to not lose faith in continued existence, and to find the silver linings and reasons to live. Many of us are just simply going to become disillusioned to the point of isolation, while others are actually craving that time alone. Like, I feel as if there's two camps of people on this planet enduring this phenomenon equally but differently. I'm sure there's many people that are stuck around multiple people that they can't stand, and they can't think, and they're constantly talking at them. Like, you can certainly tell that your environment is manipulated. And many people are having the opposite problem. Like, they've become outcasts, or perhaps they are like the black sheep of their family because they're so manipulated, and this hive mind has centered in on them. That is how it is for sentient people in general. They're just going to be targeted more because of their high vibration, their intelligence, and their lack of ability to take shit sitting down as much as your average person who's just not thinking, they're just doing. And they are just part of this whole thing. Never set out to be, but they are. You know what I mean? So use your use your solitude creatively, and never stop using your mind, because they want to think for you. You need to think for yourself and question authority, and try to find that happy medium of continued existence while keeping your foot held down about what's important, because they want all these concessions that we're forced to make in life to be the precedent that we have to take it on the chin, and that's not a good thing either to continue that philosophy. and expect that many hoovering narcissists will present themselves at the worst time to break you out of your spiritual awakening, to make things so bizarrely normal that you can't react to the weird existential phenomenon that's occurring in your life. I think we still have to strive to find that middle ground. But it's important to remember, though, too, that many of us are enduring a phenomenon that is so internally devastating and existential that speaking of all these oddities is like unfathomable to them. They're just trying to reach for normal as a safety, as a defense mechanism, a sense of security. So just try to be understanding of that too. But we're all rooted in our routines, and what is normal waking life to me may not be to you. But what is astounding is how many people play off these seedy double lives that they have. And this will be the case until real world problems present themselves to humble them. So I'm just going to continue to pray for more understanding, more humbling for many people who truly fucking deserve it, and also just maybe a new path to a new earth where we can understand each other better and not be each other's enemies as much. That's all I can hope for, but we'll see how it plays out. Peace out, everyone.